Good afternoon. My name is Gregory, and today we will be looking at Unit 12 in the new Headway Plus elementary book. The name of this unit is Life's an Adventure. And some of the things we will be looking at today will be going to, future, infinitive of purpose, the weather, and making suggestions. If we look at this, how many sentences can you make with I'm going to Malta and I went to Malta, and completing the sentence with one of these? How many sentences can you make? For instance, I'm going to Malta soon. But would you say I went to Malta soon? No, you couldn't, because that is past tense. If you've done that, let's check. I'm going to Malta soon. I'm going to Malta next month, in a year's time. I'm going to Malta when I retire. And I went to Malta when I was a student. I went to Malta 2 years ago. Future plans. Jack and his sports teacher, Danny Carrick, both have plans for the future. Read their future plans. Which do you think are Jack's and which are Danny's? What do you think? Write J or D, or J and D in these blocks. Which ones do you think are Danny's? Which ones do you think are Jack's? I'm going to be a footballer, Jack. I'm going to travel the world, all over the world. I'm going to train very hard, and so on. Who do you think made those statements? Well, let's check. Number 1 was Jack. Number 2, Jack and Danny. Number 3, Jack and Danny. Number 4, Danny. Number 5, Jack. Number 6, Jack. Number 7, Danny. Number 8, Danny. Number 9, Danny. And number 10 was Jack. Let's listen.
Unit 12. Tape script 12.1. Jack.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a footballer, a really good one. I'm in the school team and I play 3 times a week. But I'm going to train very hard every day so I can be really, really good. First, I'm going to play for Manchester United, then Inter Milan, and then Real Madrid. Those are my favourite teams. I'm going to travel all over the world and I'm going to be famous. I'm not going to marry until I'm very old, about 25. Then I want to have 2 sons. I'm going to play football until I'm 35. That's a very long time. And I'm going to teach my sons to play. I want them to be famous footballers too.
Danny Carrick.
When I retire next year, I'm going to retire early. I'm not going to stay at home and watch TV. I'm going to try lots of new things. First, I want to go mountain climbing. In fact, I want to climb Mount Everest, so I'm going to train very hard for that. I'm going to learn to scuba dive too, because I want to go scuba diving in Australia. There are so many things I want to do. I'm going to travel all over the world. Then I'm going to write a book about my adventures. I want to call it Life Begins at 60. In my book, I'm going to tell other retired people to try new things too. You're only as old as you feel.
And how did you do with that exercise? Did you get most of them right? If you did, nicely done. Talk with a partner about Jack and then about Danny, and use the ideas in exercise 1. For instance, Jack's going to be a footballer. He's going to, he isn't going to. Which two plans are the same for both of them? They are both going to. Can you remember? Which of these plans do they both share? Well, let's have a look again. Number 2 and number 3. They both say they are going to travel all over the world, and they both said, I'm going to train very hard. And here's the information about Jack and Danny. The answers to all of the questions. Jack's going to be a footballer. Jack's going to play for Manchester United. Jack isn't going to marry until he's very old, 35. And Jack's going to be famous. Danny's going to try new things. Danny isn't going to stay at home and watch TV. Danny's going to learn to scuba dive, and Danny's going to write a book. And they both agree that they are both going to travel all over the world, and they are both going to train very hard. How did you do with that? Listen.
Tape script 12.2.
Is he going to be a footballer?
Yes, he is.
What's he going to do?
Train very hard.
So work with your partner and practice asking these questions. And ask other questions from the exercise as well. For instance, is he going to play for Manchester United? Or is he going to learn to scuba dive? So take turns at asking and answering those questions. Questions about Jack. Work with your partner and make more questions about Jack, then match them with an answer. Questions. Write those questions out correctly. And here are the answers. Done? Okay, let's check what you've written. Why is he going to train very hard? Because he wants to be a footballer. E. How long is he going to play football? Until he's 35. A. When is he going to marry? Not until he's very old, about 35. D. How many children is he going to have? 2. B. And number 5, who is he going to teach to play football? His sons. C. How did you do with that exercise? Let's listen.
Tape script 12.3. 1.
Why is he going to train very hard?
Because he wants to be a footballer.
2.
How long is he going to play football?
Until he's 35.
3.
When is he going to marry?
Not until he's very old, about 25.
4.
How many children is he going to have?
2.
5.
Who is he going to teach to play football?
His sons.
Okay, that was a useful exercise. Now, questions about you. Are you going to do any of these things after the lesson today? Ask and answer the questions with a partner. So, are you going to watch TV after the lesson? Are you going to have a coffee? Are you going to catch a bus? Ask your partner these questions, and then let your partner ask you these questions. And let's have a look at the grammar spots. The verb to be plus going to expresses future plans. Complete the table with the verb to be and going to. Complete the table. And what are the questions and the negatives? Let's have a look. I'm going to leave tomorrow. You're going to leave tomorrow. He, she's going to leave tomorrow. We're going to leave tomorrow. They are going to leave tomorrow. So the verb to be and going to. Negatives. I'm not going to leave tomorrow. You aren't going to leave tomorrow. He or she isn't going to leave tomorrow. We aren't going to leave tomorrow, and they aren't going to leave tomorrow. And questions? Am I going to leave tomorrow? Are you going to leave tomorrow? Is he or she going to leave tomorrow? Are we going to leave tomorrow? And are they going to leave tomorrow? Is there much difference between these two sentences? I'm leaving tomorrow and I'm going to leave tomorrow. What do you think? Is there much difference in meaning between those two? No, there isn't. Both of them express the intention of leaving tomorrow. Let's have a look at 12.1 on page 133. 12.1, going to. Going to expresses a person's plans and intentions. She's going to be a teacher when she grows up. We are going to stay in a villa in France this summer. Often, there is no difference between going to and the present continuous to refer to a future intention. I'm doing my project tonight. And I'm going to do my project tonight. Pretty much the same meaning. We also use going to when we can see now that something is sure to happen in the future. For instance, careful, that glass is going to fall. Positive and negative. I am, he, she, it is, we, you, they are. You'll remember those, the verb to be. I am going to, or not going to, have a break. He, she, it is not going to, or going to stay at home. We, you, they are not going to have a break, stay at home. Question. When am I going to have a break? When is he, she, it going to stay at home? When are we, you, or they going to have a break? With the verbs to go and to come, we usually use present continuous for future plans. For instance, we are going to Paris next week. Joe and Tim are coming for lunch tomorrow. So we use the present continuous for future plans. Okay, let's go back. And move on to the next page. We also use going to when we can see now that something is sure to happen soon. What is going to happen? Use these verbs. What do you think? It's going to, he's going to, and so on. Use these verbs to complete the sentences under each picture. And if you're done, let's check your answers. It's going to rain. I'm going to sneeze. He's going to win the race. He's going to jump. He's going to be late. It's going to turn left. How do we know? There's a flasher. They're going to buy a new house, and he's going to fall. So going to is used to express future plans, and also used when we know and we can see that something is sure to happen soon. So put a sentence from exercise 5 into each gap. So take an umbrella. Why? It's going to rain. Now, do all of the others. Fill in the gaps using the sentences that you put under each picture. And listen.
Tape script 12.4. 1,
Take an umbrella. It's going to rain.
2,
Look at the time. You're going to be late for the meeting.
3,
Rob's running very fast. He's going to win the race.
4,
Look, Jack's on the wall. He's going to fall.
5,
Look at that man. He's going to jump.
6,
They're going to buy a new house. They want to live in the country.
7,
Follow that car. It's going to turn left.
8,
Oh dear, I'm going to sneeze. Achoo!
Bless you.
And there we have them for you. Answers in bold. All done? Good. Then let's move along. And this section is called I Want to See the World. Infinitive of purpose. Infinitive, you'll remember, is the base form of the verb, usually with the word to in front of it, such as to see. So match the places and the activities. And can you find them in the photos? So Nepal, you get to climb Mount Everest. With Brazil, what do you get to do? The Great Barrier Reef, which one goes with that? Complete the exercise by joining the country with an activity. And if you look at the photos, you'll see all the various activities. If you're done, then let us check your answers. In Nepal, you'll get to climb Mount Everest. In Brazil, you'll visit the rainforest, and that's photo D. The Great Barrier Reef, you'll go scuba diving, that's F. In China, you'll walk along the Great Wall, photo C. Hawaii, you'll go surfing, G. In Alaska, you'll watch whales, that's photo B. In the USA, you'll fly over the Grand Canyon, photo A. And in Kenya, you'll take photographs of the lions, photo E. How did you do with those? Danny Carrick is going to visit all the countries in exercise 1. He's going to visit all of those countries. He is telling his friend Harold about his plans. Read their conversation and complete the last sentence. Danny: first, I'm going to Nepal. Why? To climb Mount Everest. Oh my goodness, what are you going to do after that? Well, then I'm going to Kenya too. Can you remember what we're doing in Kenya? Kenya, I'm going to Kenya to take photographs of the lions. It sounds like he is in for an exciting and very interesting time. Listen.
Tape script 12.5.
First, I'm going to Nepal
Why?
to climb Mount Everest.
Oh my goodness. What are you going to do after that?
Well, then I'm going to Kenya to take photographs of the lions.
Okay. And those are really quite remarkable photos, and he's in for quite an adventure. Let's have a look at the grammar spot. With the verbs to go, to come, and to come, we usually use the present continuous for future plans. I'm going to Nepal tomorrow. Not, I'm going to go to Nepal soon. She's coming this evening. Not, she's going to come this evening. Do these sentences mean the same thing? I'm going to Nepal to climb Mount Everest. I'm going to Nepal because I want to climb Mount Everest. They mean very close, they are very close to meaning exactly the same thing. That he's going to Nepal with the intention of climbing Mount Everest. And the infinitive can tell us why something happens. I'm going to America to learn English. And let's have a look at grammar reference 12.2 on page 133. 12.2. Infinitive of purpose. The infinitive can express why a person does something. I'm saving my money to buy a laptop. Equals because I want to buy a laptop. We are going to Paris to have a holiday. Because we want to have a holiday. Not, beware of these errors. Not, I'm saving my money to buy a laptop. Or, I'm saving my money for buy a laptop. No. We simply use the infinitive. I'm saving my money to buy a laptop. I'm saving my money to buy a laptop. Okay? Let us practice. Role play. Work with a partner. Student A can be Harold and student B can be Danny. Ask and answer questions about the places. And do this with your partner. Why are you going to Nepal? To climb Mount Everest. Oh my goodness. Ask the other questions as well. Why are you going to Kenya? Why are you going to China? What are you going to do in China? Talk about Danny Carrick's journey. Use first, then, next, after that. First, he's going to Nepal to climb Mount Everest. Then he's going to, after that, and then, and write down all the things that Danny is going to be doing. All done? Let's check. First, he's going to Nepal to climb Mount Everest. Then he's going to Brazil to visit the rainforest. Next, he's going to the Great Barrier Reef to go scuba diving. Then to China to walk along the Great Wall. And after that to Hawaii to go surfing. After that, he's going to Alaska to watch whales, and then to the USA to fly over the Grand Canyon. Finally, he's going to Kenya to take photographs of the lions. And this is the way we sequence events. You start with first he's going to, next, after that, and the last one is finally. When we give a list of events that are going to happen, those are the sorts of words we'll use, like next and then and after that and so on. So how did you do? Write down the names of some places you went to in the past, and then ask and answer questions about the places with a partner. So work with your partner with this. And assuming you've been to England and Switzerland, you could ask, why did you go to England? To learn English. When did you go? 2 years ago. Why did you go to Switzerland? To visit my cousins. When did you go? Last year. And then use your imagination. Write down the names of some places you're going to in the future, and do the same. And you'll notice the questions change slightly. Why are you going to Paris? To go shopping. When are you going? In 2 weeks' time. These questions were in the past tense. Now, tick the correct sentence. Only one of each pair is correct. For instance, number 1, is going to rain, or it's going to rain. Tick the correct sentence, and do that for all 6 sentences. And if you're done, then let us check your answers. Number 1, it's going to rain. Number 2, are you going to wash your hair this evening? Number 3, she's going to have lunch. Number 4, I'm going to the post office to buy some stamps. Number 5, I'm going home early this evening. I'm going home early this evening. And number 6, I opened the window to get some fresh air. Yeah, you got those? If you did, nicely done. Let's move on to the next section. Reading and speaking. Living dangerously. Match a verb with a noun or phrase. Match each one of those verbs with a noun or phrase in this column. For instance, we could say, have an accident. What do you think the others go with? If you are done, let's check your answers. Have an accident. Win a race. Feel sick. Float in water. Get top marks. And which of these sports do you think is the most dangerous? Put them in order from 1 to 6. 1 is the most dangerous and 6 is the least dangerous. What do you think? Is skiing dangerous? Is it more dangerous than windsurfing, than football, golf, motor racing, skydiving? What do you think is the most dangerous? For me, I would say probably motor racing is the most dangerous. Maybe skydiving, but we'll all have our own ideas about that. Look at the photos of Clem Quinn and Sue Glass. Which of their sports would you like to try? Would you most like to try, and why? Clem Quinn is a skydiver, and Sue Glass, who is a racing driver. Which one of those two would you most like to do, and why? Now we're going to read about Clem and Sue, and then we're going to answer questions about that person. For today's exercise, we will just focus on Clem Quinn, and answer questions about him. So, let's read what they say about Clem. Clem Quinn was always interested in flying. When he was 5, he tried to fly by jumping off the garden shed with a golf umbrella. But when he grew up, he didn't become a pilot, he became a taxi driver. Then 20 years ago, he did a parachute jump and loved it. He decided that being a taxi driver in London was a lot more dangerous than jumping out of a plane. So he moved to the country to learn parachute jumping and skydiving. He is now a full-time teacher of skydiving. He says, "I love skydiving because the world looks so good. Blue sky, green fields, white clouds. You float through the air. It's like floating in water. You can see forever all the way to the French coast. The views are fantastic. You can forget all your worries. People think it is dangerous, but it's very safe. Football is much more dangerous. Footballers often have accidents. When did you last hear of a skydiving accident? Next July, I'm going to do a skydive with 100 people from 6 planes. That's a record. That's a record. I'm never going to retire. I'm going to jump out of planes until I'm an old man." He really loves what he does, doesn't he? So let's answer questions about Clem. What happened when he was a child? What job did he do when he grew up? Go through all of these questions and answer them about Clem. And if you're done, let's check your answers. There are the answers for Clem. When he was a child, he tried to fly by jumping off the garden shed. He worked as a taxi driver. He did a parachute jump and loved it. Because the world looks so good. Number 4, why does he like it? Check all your answers. The numbers that they gave at the end there, 5, 6, 20, and 100. 5 was Clem's age when he jumped off the garden shed. Number 6, the number of planes he's going to use for his record dive. 20, the number of years ago that he did his first jump. And 100, the number of people who are going to do the world dive with Clem. How did you do? Did you answer all the questions correctly? If you did, well done. Then let's read about Sue Glass. Sue Glass had a car accident when she was 8, so she didn't like driving. When she grew up, this was a problem because she got a job with a car company. Then 6 years ago, she met Julian Swayland, a racing driver, and she told him she was afraid of cars. He wanted to help, so he took her to Brands Hatch, a Grand Prix racing circuit. He drove her around corners at 100 miles per hour, and she loved it. Then she heard about a special motor racing course. She did the course with 5 men and was amazed when she got top marks. She says, "I think I did well because I listened to everything the teacher said I needed to do because I was so afraid. The best moment was my first championship race. I didn't win, but I came 4th out of 20. I love the excitement of motor racing, but it's a dangerous sport and I'm always very frightened. In fact, I stopped doing it a year ago because I got so nervous before each race, I felt really sick. I'm not going to race again. I'm going to teach other people to drive. I'm going to open a driving school next year." Isn't that an interesting story? So out of her fear came the career and the type of work she will be doing probably for the rest of her life. Now, answer the questions, the same questions about Sue. What happened when she was a child, what job, and so on and so on. And let's check your answers. She had a car accident, she worked for a car company. Check all your answers. And again, with her, the numbers 5, 6, 20, and 100. Number 5, the number of men on the motor racing course with Sue. 6, the number of years ago that she met Julian Swayland. 20, the number of competitors in her first championship race. And 100, the speed she drove around the corners at the racing circuit. How did you do? Were you able to answer the questions? Did you find the answers in the sections that we read here? If you did, nicely done. And it's good it is important to be able to read passages like this and to extract the information from them and to be able to answer questions about what you have read. Let's move along. We now go to vocabulary and speaking. And we are going to talk about the weather. Match the words and the symbols. We have sunny, rainy, windy, snowy, cloudy, foggy. Well, there it tells us fog, so that must be foggy. What about the rest? Let's check your answers. Number 1, foggy. Number 2, snowy. Number 3, windy. Number 4, rainy. Number 5, sunny. And number 6, cloudy. Which symbols can the following adjectives go with? Hot, warm, cold, cool, wet, dry. Listen and complete the answers. What's the weather like today? Go through these and fill in the gaps. And if you've done, let us listen.
Tape script 12.6.
What's the weather like today?
It's snowy and it's very cold.
What was it like yesterday?
Oh, it was cold and cloudy.
What's it going to be like tomorrow?
I think it's going to be warmer.
And there are possible answers. The other answers are possible, but these are the ones they have given. So the gaps are with the highlighted, the bold type letters. Okay? The question what, like, asks for a description. What's the weather like? Means, tell me about the weather. So practice the questions and answers. Work with your partner and ask questions like, what is the weather like here today? What was the weather like yesterday? How do you think it will be tomorrow? What do you think it will be like tomorrow? And work with a partner. Find out about the weather around the world yesterday. Look at the information on this page and ask and answer questions. What was the weather like in Athens? It was sunny and warm, 18 degrees. So ask about the others. What is the weather like in Lisbon? Well, no answer. In London, R for rainy, and the temperature was 10, so it was wet and cold. Here are possible answers to the questions. Athens, sunny and warm. Berlin, wet, rainy and cold. And so on. Check your answers. Which city was the hottest? Which was the coldest? Which month do you think it is? Which month were these temperatures recorded, do you think? Well, Luxor was the hottest, and Moscow was the coldest with -1. And the month that these temperatures were recorded was March. Making suggestions. Everyday English. Make a list of things you can do in good weather and things you can do in bad weather. Compare your list with a partner. In good weather, you can go to the beach. In bad weather, you can watch TV. What else do you think? In good weather, you can go to the park, you can go for a walk, you can go cycling. In bad weather, you can watch TV, you can go to a movie, you can cook. There are different things we do depending on the weather. To an extent, the weather does determine what we do with ourselves. Read and listen to the beginning of 2 conversations and complete these suggestions. It's a lovely day. What shall we do? Let's listen.
Tape script 12.7. 1.
It's a lovely day. What shall we do?
Let's play tennis.
2.
It's raining again. What shall we do?
Let's stay at home and watch TV.
So making suggestions, in this case, it starts with let's or let us. Let us play tennis. Let's play tennis. Let's stay home and watch TV. There's people making suggestions to the other person as to what they should do. We use shall to ask for and make suggestions. What shall we do? Shall we go swimming? Which means the same as I suggest that we go swimming. We use let's to make a suggestion for everyone. Let's go. I suggest that we all go. Let's have a pizza. Let us have a pizza. Continue the 2 conversations in exercise 2 with these lines. Put them in the correct order, A to C. So put these in the correct order. And if you're done, let us check your answers. 1B, well, let's go swimming. 2C, okay, which exhibition do you want to see? 1A, oh no, it's too hot to play tennis. 2A, oh no, we watched TV last night. 1C, okay, I'll get my swimming costume. And 2B, let's go to a museum. Did you get them all in order? If so, good. And you'll notice 1B, let's go swimming, goes with 1C, okay, I'll get my swimming costume. And 2B, well, let's go to a museum, go to 2C, okay, which exhibition do you want to see, and so on and so on. And this is where we'll end today's lesson. I hope you found it useful and helpful. I hope you will practice what you have learned, and I hope your English improves day by day. Until next time, thank you.